Are we ready for geometry? I hope so, because this is lesson 1.11 on points, line segments, lines, and rays. Okay, so let's say that your problem asks you to draw a line segment. So the first thing that you're going to need to do is start with a point. You'll take your ruler, and actually you'll start with 2 points. And then you'll take your ruler and you'll connect those 2 points. And then, of course, a lot of times your problems are going to ask you to label them. So it might say, draw a line segment CD. So then you would label 1 point C, 1 point D. Now there's a couple of different ways that we can write this. If it asks you to name the line segment, then you could write out the words line segment CD. You could write out the shortcut method, which would be this. That says the same thing as the first one. The symbol means line segment CD. Now, can we flip that around and call that line segment DC? And the answer would be yes. Okay, so this would be a line segment. So the directions might ask you, draw a line segment, label it CD. You would draw that picture. If you were given that line segment, they might ask you to name the line segment. So you could write out in word form line segment CD. You could also write out in word form line segment DC, flip them around. Or you could use the shortcut with the symbol at the top of the letters, line segment CD or line segment DC. Now, if your direction said draw ray AB, you're going to draw an endpoint, and then you're going to use your ruler just to extend that out and put your arrow. You would put an A here, and then you would put a point down here somewhere before your arrow, and this would be ray AB. Now when we name a ray, we always start with the end point, not the end that has the arrow. Okay, you could also write it out like this, ray AB. We could even call it ray A. Okay, so that would be a ray. Now, what happens if you're asked to draw a line? So with a line, we know that that's made up of infinite points, but we're just going to go ahead and make a line with our ruler, put our arrows at both ends, and let's say that we're going to call it X, Y, Z, and we're going to put a point where each of those letters are located. Now, we could call this in word form line X, Y, Z. We could name it line like this, X, Z, or line Z, X. Okay, you can kind of see how that works. Now let me ask you this question. Is it ever possible to draw all of a line? No, it is not. How about, is it ever possible to draw all of a line segment? The answer would be yes to that question. What about all of a ray? Think about that. All of a ray. We know a ray goes on forever in one direction. Not the band, but one direction. And that means that no, we could not draw all of a ray. So these are some practice problems similar to what you will have to do when you are given directions to draw one of those. So here's a summary of what we have done today. We've learned how to identify parallel lines, rays, line segments, points, and lines. We've learned what is meant by intersection. Remember, that's when they cross or run into each other. And we've learned how to give alternate names for rays, line segments, and I repeated rays there. That should be lines. Okay?